Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Small Stages, Big Sounds, the Uberrock podcast, where we look at the smaller venues around the area and some of the bands that make an awful lot of noise. And today I'm joined by another finalist from the Day of Reckoning in Newport at the end of the month. I'm joined by Rob and Wig from Risperidrone. I think that's how you say it.
That's it.
Yeah?
Risperidrone.
Yeah. I only know that because I know the drug Risperidrone, because that's, being a nurse, that's what you do. So, welcome, guys. As I said, I've got a couple of basic questions for you. So, having listened to some of your tracks, how would you describe Risperidrone's sound to someone listening to you for the first time?
A lot of fuzz.
A lot of fuzz.
Fuzz, bit of stoner.
Okay.
How would you describe it, Rob?
The thing I can't get out of my head, and it was actually a really good compliment, I think, for me anyway, was someone described us as Frank Zappa doom metal, and I was like, that's
yeah, I can see that.
Really big fan of that.
I can see the doom metal side of it, having listened to Wizardweed and a few of the others yesterday. And I was telling Rob before we started, I quite like Wizardweed, I really do. But there we are. And metal is not normally my thing, So what does being a South Wales doom metal band mean to you creatively, and how do you think the scene supports you in your endeavours?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly I would say a bit more of a leaning towards we're kind of doom metal, but I think we try not to kind of think we are this kind of genre or this kind of thing. Just kind of go with whatever. I say
we never. Sorry. I was just going to say, we never used to use fuzz pedals or anything. It's all distortion. And then Rob's love of doom just infected us all. And then we just started using fuzz, slowed down with age, and just went with it. And then people seemed to really like the vibe. So we carried on, and here we are.
Well, like I said, I listened to a lot of it yesterday afternoon because the missus was out and I was decorating so I could play what I like. So I had all your tracks going. Some of them made me go, yeah, I like that. Some made me go, not so much,
Nice. Marmite.
Yeah. And I like my mind, to be honest with you. So anyway, how did you come together as a band?
You can go for a week if you want. Explain the story.
We started as a band. Well, we had a band back in 2010 called Junk DNA. And then that went on for about 8 or 9 years. And then we split up for a bit. And then we wanted to restart as a band. So the original lineup came back together. But that's when you joined, Rob, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And that was the original formation of Risperidrone back in 2020 when COVID was happening. So it was mad because we got back together, original lineup, but with Rob. And then we started recording and sending the tracks over online because we couldn't meet each other because of COVID. And that was the EP. We made the EP all online, just shooting the files back and forth on the internet. And that was crazy. And some of the songs we have never played together. It worked out now, but that's how it happened.
So have you played them since?
Yeah, we've played a couple of them, haven't we?
Yeah, Rain. So for a while, I think on the EP was actually one of the Junk DNA track from the previous band that we kind of repurposed. But
yeah, and then so from 2020 we played a few gigs and trying to get out the COVID era. It was quite tough because no one knew how it was going to work, or people were high at risk, so we couldn't play many shows. And then our singer at the time, he bought a house in Bath and we started to rehearse in Bristol, but it became a problem because it was pretty far to rehearse each week. So then we got Giacomo, who's our current singer, in 2023, and we've had him ever since. And we're all local, we're all from Cardiff, apart from Tom now.
So with your original vocalist, was he the one that was more, what's the word I'm looking for, growly?
So I think they definitely have different styles. I think Elliot had a bit more I guess a bit more of the new metal side, with the kind of some of the stuff because it's almost like rapping, and then there's a different kind of screaming. But Jack does a bit of the clean singing and the growls as well. So Yeah.
So who's the
I think both
vocalist
did a
on
bit of it.
Wizardweed?
That's Jack. So
Yeah.
we have the first EP which has Elliot on it, and then everything else then is with Jack.
He's got quite a good voice, actually. I quite like the tone of his voice. So you can tell him that from me.
Yeah, we'll show him the video.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. So how do you balance your set with something like the final of Metal at the Masses coming up? How are you going to balance your set for that?
I think we're just going to go after all of them. Like we'll have to play all of our best hits, I guess, and something that we know the crowd enjoys as well.
Because I think each band's got about 30 minutes.
Yeah. So for us, it's a little bit of a struggle fitting in. Fitting in the songs we wanted for us, because
that'll be 3 songs then.
Yeah.
1.5, like.
Yeah, I think we played around with it a little bit throughout the Metal to the Masses. I think one time we tried to go a bit heavy, a bit nastier. But I think we've kind of been finding that what seems to work, and people kind of say, "Oh, I like this quite a lot about the set," is the like kind of having a bit of like the dynamics within it. So like, you know, we've got one maybe like Wizardweed, which is a bit more energetic, a bit more upbeat, and then we kind of follow that with something that maybe goes a little bit on a journey and has some psychedelic stuff in it too. So I think I always like I like watching sets that have a lot of variety and dynamics in it, 'cause it keeps things fresh. So I think that's what we kind of try and go for.
And we normally get Rob to choose the set, don't we? Because you work out all the times and everything.
Yeah, and there with the looking at the track lengths, like, okay, we can maybe fit 4, maybe a 5th one in.
Yeah.
So there's no variability within the tracks, and you've got to play them as is, otherwise you run over.
Yeah, I think it kind of, it's usually for half an hour we've got like 4 or 5 songs. If it's 4, we can kind of take our time and you know, maybe hold on to that chord a little longer at the beginning.
Yeah, we try not to squeeze them in, because you know, if we try and squeeze them in, it'll sound really strange, because for playing Doom you have to play slow, take your time, you know. So yeah.
I mean, the one thing that I noticed at last year's final was the band that stood out was the band that nobody thought was going to win. And I don't know whether you went last year.
Yeah, I was there, yeah.
But it was Advilion, and they stood out for me, but like a country mile. And they won, you know?
Nice, yeah.
Something completely different, rather than all growly, grunty, screamy, noisy, can't understand a word metal.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I think we definitely do have a bit of that, but I think we try and balance it with a more...
Yeah,
more
our songs are quite dynamic, you know. There's a lot of peaks and valleys in our music. We do have an album coming out in August, which is really exciting.
Ooh.
And you'll get to hear all the new tracks there as well.
That'd be interesting. You know where to send it when you want a review.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know, that's not a problem, because that'll go on the Uberrock. And if you've got a single coming out, we might put that on as a single of the week or something like that.
Oh, nice. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not what you know at the end of the day, is it?
Very true.
So, which bands or albums have influenced your approach and your take on going down the doom groove stylistic choice?
Well, for me, I'd say Crowbar, mostly Crowbar, because their riffs are just insanely chunky and fat, and I love them. And they're really groovy at the same time, you know, the original like NOLA scene. So I'd have to say Crowbar for me. There are probably a few others, but off the top of my head, yeah, has to be Crowbar.
Yeah, Crowbar's a big one for me too. I think I've sort of come from like a more, I guess, like classic rock route kind of thing.
As you can see by the albums in the background.
Yeah. Definitely that one, particularly King Crimson. I know it's not really a doom record in any sense, but the first track, the 21st Century Schizoid Man, is just like, it's kind of a doom song without the distortion, I feel like. Yeah, the like Sabbath, obviously. And I think a big one for me is, got to see him last week as well, The Sword, or 2 weeks ago now, wasn't it? Like, absolutely were like fantastic, kind of. Yeah, fantastic band though, like really, really.
Yeah, they are good.
Oh, well, I'll have to check a couple of these out, because they're bands I've not heard of. Because, as I said at the top, not usually my thing, metal. I'm more of a classic rock guy, as you can tell. It's to do with age. You know, when your first gig was Deep Purple in 1973, you know.
Nice, yeah.
No, it's not bad.
That was my first gig going to Deep Purple when I was 13.
I was
When they
14.
played CIA.
Yeah, I was 14, but it was in London.
Nice.
I think the ticket was £3 and the train fare was £2.50.
Not bad.
That's amazing.
How much was your ticket week for Deep Purple?
I don't know.
Best part of £60, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the lines of that, yeah.
So, do you write the music that you think you're going to play live, or do you just write it and then decide whether you're going to play it or not?
So, I think we've both got different writing styles, right? So, like, in Risperidrone, there are 4 of us, and I like to think that the whole group has their equal say, equal opportunities for writing the music. So, normally, me and Rob get together, write some riffs or songs. We have like a folder of loads of songs and riffs, and we just kind of put them in a pot, in a cauldron, stir the pot, and then, here's a song. And then after that, we take it to Tom, the drummer, and we jam it out and see how it goes. And then that means that's like a blank canvas then for Giacomo to, put the cherry on top and do the vocals and the lyrics on that. So I think that's the way we normally do it.
Yeah. And I think once we've kind of solid enough with that, then it's always like, yeah, we want to try and play it somewhere as soon as we feel comfortable enough with it.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe one now that we've currently got just on the cusp of that.
Yeah, it's always exciting, like jamming it out at home or in the rehearsal room, and all we want to do is turn it up to 11 and just go full blast with it and show everyone. So that's the excitement of it.
Yeah. So there are a reducing number of venues around the country, and do you find it difficult to find places to play?
I feel like we've had a very recent.
Yeah, we're struggling to find a place.
Yeah. It's definitely a noticeable thing. Like, I think that the Moon was definitely a big loss for Cardiff.
But then the Moon wasn't the sort of place that I would have thought you'd have played. I thought you'd have been more Fuel-based.
Fuel's
Play
definitely...
Fuel.
Yeah.
That's our main local. We play Fuel all the time. This was when, I think the Moon was more underground alternative scene before it got taken over.
Yeah, they'd have all sorts on there.
Just for you to be aware, like I said, I've been doing this for about 2 years now. Bands play where they play, and they find it difficult to find other venues to play in. Now, the Music Venue Trust about 18 months ago came up with a partnership with a company that's developed a website that lists every venue in the UK.
Nice.
I'll just share it with you now. I share it with all bands because it's useful for you to find it, It's called Hereby, okay? Hereby.com. And as you can see, it'll tell you what's going on as you scroll up and down. But then you can zoom in and move around, and you can see all the venues that are in a certain part of the country,
Nice. That's actually, really handy.
Yeah. So it's, say you wanted to go somewhere else to do, I don't know, say Birmingham or something. Let's go to Birmingham. Say you wanted to do a couple of gigs in the Birmingham area, then it'll show you what venues are around. Yeah?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wig's going to be on that later, emailing every single one.
It's a really
with emails now.
Yeah, it's a really useful resource for bands to find these things. Yeah?
Yeah, no, that seems really useful.
Now, the other thing as well is supporting grassroots music venues is a bit of a thing of mine, because I tend to go around the venues, take photographs and give them to the bands for fun, just because I just do it for fun. But the Music Venue Trust have also set up a festival over the weekend of what would have been Glastonbury. Yeah, nice. Same thing. Over the 26th to the 28th of June.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah. And basically, there are loads of grassroots venues around that are hosting an event that's funded by the National Lottery. So what I'm trying to do is to advertise it, not because of anything other than I think it's the only way to keep the venues going, but for people to think, well, I'm not doing anything that weekend, so I'll pop across to my local venue and see what's on. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
so. The downside to this is it's the same weekend as Blackbird Festival in Cardiff and Metallica on the Sunday.
Oh yeah.
So,
Nice.
So
Bit of a
in this
class,
part of the world, it's a bit of a bummer, really. But hey ho. But both useful resources. If they're going to do it every so often to fund and keep the grassroots venues going, that's all you can ask.
Yeah.
So
seems like a really good idea.
But like I said, for you, the hereby thing is probably a very useful reresource.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for showing us that.
So I shared it with everybody I talk to because I'm a nerd. What's been the biggest challenge in keeping and developing your identity with band changes?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I think I don't necessarily know if do you mean sort of like lineup changes and things?
Yeah.
I think maybe like we don't necessarily try and think like, oh, this is what we're doing, like we can't change it. I think like as we've had like different vocalists and things like that, I think we've kind of just gone with it and kind of maybe thought, well, it's slightly different from the way it was before. And I think maybe the writing has changed a little bit, like certainly has changed over the years to kind of reflect that, I think.
Lower and slower.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Maturity.
Yeah.
It
catches up and slow down.
Everybody slows down as you get older. I know.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you, Rob. It's like, slowing down and going with it and evolving with the changes, Just rolling with the punches, I guess.
Okay. So let's have a little bit of crystal ball gazing, yeah? Okay. So you said you got an album coming out in August, all right? So what would happen if you won the Metal to the Masses final and got to play at Bloodstock?
Wow. I think I personally, I'd be like, let's bring the album forward. We've got to sell those CDs of Bloodstock.
Yeah.
But
bring production forward.
Yeah. I think it'd just be amazing, wouldn't it? Like just getting up on the New Blood stage. Wig I think is more frequent to Bloodstock than I am, but like we're both been a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it's like amazing.
We're both going this year anyway.
Yeah, we'll be there either
amazing,
way.
The only difference is you'd have to put your gear in the back.
Oh, I know, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, we'd have to figure that out, I think, for sure.
It would be awesome, though. It would be insane. Just, playing on the New Blood stage and overlooking the crowd. Dream come true.
Yeah.
So, the bigger the better, I'd say. So,
what's the biggest stage you've played on?
We've played a lot of stages. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult.
I think probably the Cornish stage probably will be the biggest that we played on as a band.
Yeah.
I am keeping quiet. I am in the band that won 2 years ago in Route Zero, so I did actually get to play Bloodstock a couple of years back, which was amazing.
Well, there you are.
But
you'll let us know what to do.
So I think that's that one for me personally. But I think definitely Corn Exchange will be the biggest.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think we haven't played. Well, we played bunks, but they're all similar sizes, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we've definitely had some ones in Fuel that have felt really big, like when we had Frog Lord and Famine as well.
Yeah,
because it was just absolutely packed, So it was like
sweaty.
Yeah, I like a sweaty gig.
Sweaty and swampy.
That's the only difference with outdoors. It can be swampy.
Yeah. More of a vibe.
Well, thank you for your time, guys.
Awesome.
Awesome.
See
Thanks, sir. See you.